guys, happy December. Welcome back to my channel. I come to you today bearing great news. This is the official first month that I have broken even in my budget since leaving my 9-to-5 job in July. Today is a very exciting video that I've been hoping I could make for the past few months. Although I have not been putting in the effort in my budget to be able to make this video, but this is the month, this is the day I get to finally record it. Without further ado, let us just get right into it. We are going to start by just popping right into our YNAB. You guys know the drill, and showing you guys my end of October net worth, which was $25,261.99. That is where we were at the end of October, which, if you don't remember from the previous few months, we had been dropping in net worth a little bit over $1,000 each month. And before we do the grand reveal of our November net worth, we're just gonna hop right over into our November spending for the month. So looking in the month of November, we spent $2,735.21. And as I've talked in previous videos, my goal is to be spending about $2,500 per month, which is down $2,000 from the average I was spending per month while I was in my 9-to-5 job. So a huge drop in expenses, but this month we spent $235 over the amount that I'm trying to spend each month, and we will quickly kind of look over what that was coming from. Basically, we can see immediate obligations was accounting for $2,300 of that spending. Just for fun was $271. True expenses was $109, and business expenses was $48. So immediate obligations, the biggest one was rent, which is always $1,655. Then we have groceries, which we overspent on groceries by about $33 this month, which makes sense because we did have Oliver's birthday as well as Thanksgiving, so there was a little bit of extra spending on groceries than the normal, I would say. Gas, we spent $118, which actually makes a lot of sense because I did a ton of cat sitting jobs, which is how we actually broke even this month, which you'll see in a minute. Internet, so for some reason my November and December internet both came out in November, so in a sense we actually spent $40 less because now next month we won't probably have an internet charge. Utilities, so our utilities are only $67 this month, and I talked about in previous budget and financial videos that we've been really trying to reduce our energy consumption and our electric bill. So we can see that we did actually reduce it a lot because I was more on average spending about like $90 to $100 a month on electricity, and we got it down to $67. Mainly that was from our AC because I sat down one day and scheduled out the AC to only run at night for a specific number of hours, and that has drastically reduced our bill. So I'm really happy about that. Transportation, a lot of this was a train ticket. I went to Baltimore for the day to visit two of my old coworkers from my job who live in Baltimore, and since I'm moving soon, I wanted to make sure I went up and saw them for a day. So I did spend $18 on the train ride to Baltimore and back because it's $9 each from DC, which is something I did not need to spend, which also actually increased our dining out bill because I obviously ate out when I was there. But again, it's pretty crazy to me that I even had a day where I went and visited people in a different city and ate out that day and we still broke even. So I'm pretty happy about that. The rest was parking charges, and Lyft is for my bike share membership. Whenever I take an e-bike, it charges me a little bit extra, and I'll take e-bikes if I'm really tired one day or if I have to bike pretty far away. But the bike share and the parking fees are all deductible from my income because they're relating to my cat sitting jobs. Then we have car fees. So we did get a flat tire in November on a Saturday when I had like so many meet and greets for all my Thanksgiving cat sitting jobs. It was like actually a crazy day, but it was only $17.66 to patch that tire, which is a great deal. And then we have renter's insurance, which is always $10.34. Then if we go into just for fun, if you guys didn't watch what I spent in 1 year in my 9-to-5 job video, the just for fun category on the yearly pie chart was like huge. I feel like it was much bigger than what this looks like. The immediate obligations was not 90% of our budget. It was probably like 50% of our budget. And then the other 50% was these other categories, which are like things that aren't as necessary for us to live and breathe, you know? So just for fun, dining out, we spent $221, which I think is the lowest we've ever spent in a month since I left my job. So I'm really proud of that. I'm trying to hit $200. Fun money, we spent $28, which was actually for me buying a game for my Switch. I bought the new Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer game, which was $25. So I even still bought something fun for myself in this month and still broke even, as well as I spend $4 a month on my Nintendo Online subscription so that I can play online with one of my friends and in Florida. And then couponing, we spent $21. So basically that's the $5 a month for CVS, as well as a few CVS charges from when I went and bought some things from CVS. True expenses, $109. So we spent $38 on boba, which was the $10 for her litter, which comes every month. The $28 is for she has a litter genie. Well, I have a litter genie. She doesn't scoop her own litter box. And the litter genie has cartridge inserts to like have all of the bags for them. And they're really expensive, but they last like 6 months or something. Then we have home items. I spent $4.83 on a meat thermometer that I wanted to get for Thanksgiving so I could like cook the turkey and actually check the temperatures. I had like an Amazon gift card I got for reviewing a previous Amazon purchase, which is a great hack, by the way. If you ever get an email from a company you buy from off of Amazon, or like it comes in the package with your Amazon order, make sure you do that. Like I got a $10 Amazon gift card for just reviewing the off-brand MacBook charger that I bought last month. The charger was only $22, and for reviewing it, I got a $10 gift card back, which made the charger $12, but obviously it's a gift card, so you can't use it backwards. So I used it towards this meat thermometer, which made it only $4.83. So definitely a great hack to be able to get some things off Amazon that you need. JPay, so this is JPay stamps. Now that I've said that my sister's in prison, I can comfortably share this. I don't know if I've ever really showed this in budgets before, but I do have to pay money to be able to email her or video call her or talk to her on the phone or anything. So I paid $4.40 for a chunk of stamps so I could email her over the next few months. And then my usual $3.17 for iCloud storage. So yeah, true expenses, not too bad. And then our last one is our business expenses, which accessories. At Walmart, I spent $37 on stuff to make the backdrop that I have right here, which was definitely not a needed expense. TubeBuddy, $7.20 per month. And then a mailbox fee. So I had paid for a virtual mailbox so that I could have my email subscription list for $3.54. I have since actually canceled that membership, and I'm going to be moving to a newsletter that does not require you to have like a business mailing address in your email signature, because I don't have a business mailing address and I'm not going to share my apartment address obviously within my emails. So I found a service that doesn't require you to do that. It's going to save me like a few dollars a month, so I will be doing that. And that is it. That is what covers our $2,700 a month of spending, which is really not bad at all. With that, let us jump right into our income for the month of November, and we will see that now we just said we spent $2,700 and we made almost $2,900 in the month of November, which I'm like seriously so happy that we broke even this month. It's just insane to me. It's just crazy. Basically, where that money came from, $50 of it was actually a check from my grandma for my birthday that I finally got in the mail because it got lost in all of this stuff. So I finally cashed that. But even if you take out the birthday check, we still broke even for the month. So we could technically ignore that. Instacart income. I only did 1 day of Instacart last month because I had so much cat sitting. Once I realized we were going to break even, I just like didn't bother with doing any more Instacart because I was so exhausted, but made $67 for my 1 day of Instacart. Rover, here's the big one. I made almost $1,500 from Rover in the month of November. There was a day in the week of Thanksgiving where I had 13 visits in 1 day, and I literally worked 13 hours straight. So it was insane, but most of my jobs all came from like this select week around Thanksgiving. I think I only had 1 or 2 jobs before that. In a sense, I think I made like $1,200 all in 1 week of doing Rover because there's so many people away for Thanksgiving. You can see like Rover's pretty lucrative. If like you get clients and you have enough work, you can make pretty good money from it. I'm really happy about that number. And then in the month of November, Oliver made $1,200.48 if you add his 2 paychecks together. And then lastly, we have this $20 Venmo, which was my friend Kim paid me $20 to watch her cat. And she usually doesn't pay me. I'll watch her cat and then she'll watch Boba when I'm away. So she gave me like $20 just to be nice because I had so many other jobs going on and she like really needed me to just go feed her cat one day. So that all totals up to $2,873 for the month of November, which is amazing. So if we scroll down after all the expenses, we'll see that we were up $138 for the month of November. That deserves a little round of applause for me because I'm very proud of myself for doing that. So now we're going to hop into our budget and look at our November budget to see what happened in the month and how that affected the budget. Basically, the only interesting things to see here are that I put away about $66 every month towards our car insurance premium, which is like a 6-month plan. And this was the first first month that I actually put the $66 away, and it was like technically income that we made that month instead of just taking $66 out of like our savings budget and putting it into the car insurance budget. So I'm very happy about that. The other thing I wanted to show is that in the month of November, our cushion budget, which I have here, has $0, which if you look in previous months, I actually had moved a ton of money from vacation, Christmas gifts, Christmas travel, moving expenses, house down payment, and I put it all into cushion, and I put other parts of it into our other budget categories because we were like negative for the month. So this month is amazing because I didn't have to take out any money from our quality of life goals. Everything stayed the same. The cushion stayed as it is. And my goal is to get to a point where every month that's what we're doing. Like we don't have to take any money out of these goals, and we can actually start adding back into the cushion fund or adding back into the moving expenses or whatever we think we need to add money towards with our actual extra money that we're making each month. And the last thing I wanted to show you guys is taxes. So in the month of November, I budgeted how much I need to pay for taxes, and it totals about $170 for taxes. So if you think about it that way and you say, okay, $170 worth of taxes, and we were up $138, you could, I guess, still consider that like a loss for the month because of taxes. But my taxes budget is a estimate. I'm just taking 20% of my income that I'm making to estimate our taxes. But I do have a lot of write-offs, so that number actually might be lower, as well as the fact that I was paying into money for taxes from my 9-to-5 job, which I actually might end up getting some of that back. If you're doing Instacart or cat sitting or any type of gig work where you're like self-employed, make sure that you look into whether or not you should be paying quarterly taxes. But because I haven't been making a lot of money, this is going to be the first quarter where I actually need to pay quarterly taxes, which I'll have to pay at the beginning of January. So yeah, that is what the month looks like. It's very exciting. And the last thing to look at is our net worth for November. So the last thing we look at here is we compare our net worth, and you'll see that our net worth went up $138, which is so exciting, which makes sense because we had a $138 gain for the month. Something that we're going to have to start thinking about in the new year is that our student loan payments are going to restart again on January 31st, or basically like February. Me and my husband both have student loans. For some reason, I always thought Oliver had $10,000, but we actually got the specific number because of this form I had to fill out, which I'm about to talk about too. And he has like $14,000 in student loans. So like I have like $11,700 or something, and he has like $14,500, something like that. So like we pretty much have like $25,000, a little bit over that in student loans. So his payment before was like $150 a month, and my projected payment is like $125. So we are going to have to be making more money for that. But at the same time, we are 100% planning on moving to a place with much lower rent in Florida. I'm not paying $1,655 anymore for rent. I refuse to do that. We haven't fully figured out what we want it to be because, again, like I've been mentioning in previous videos, I'm really considering getting some type of stable job when we move to Florida. I just don't know what that will look like yet, and I don't know how much I would make from that. So obviously, depending on how much I make will project how much we're willing to spend on rent. We're considering whether or not we want to try to like move directly into a new place. One thing that I've been thinking about is that if we figure out where we want to live first and we base how much we can afford on rent on like what we're making right now, I think it'll put me in a headspace where like I can't lifestyle creep, like I can't sign a lease at like some nice apartment or something, you know? But if I know I have like some 40-hour-a-week job, I'm like working full time and we're making more money. My husband, after he finishes his med school applications, is going to be working like as much as he can. So like 40 hours a week versus right now he's working like 25 to 30. He will obviously be making much more money. I will be making much more money if I'm working 40 hours a week. And if we know that we're making a lot more money, then it'll make my brain be like, oh, well, we can afford something nicer. Like, let's live in a nicer place. And I just don't want to waste money on an apartment anymore. I would much rather live in like a meh place and go back to the mindset of saving up for a down payment on a house, because that was the whole purpose of us investing. And like we had a high risk and a low risk, and then we also had a savings account, and we were trying to get to the point where we could actually buy a house. The thing was that my mindset at the time was like, well, I'm not buying a house in Florida, so where are we going to buy a house? But when my husband knows what med school he goes to, my dream dream would be that we can afford to buy a duplex and then rent out the other half of the duplex. Basically flip it a little bit, live in half of it, have someone rent out the other half, and cover our mortgage expenses. That would be amazing to have going into him being in med school, because he's obviously not going to be working while he's in med school. So hence why I'm considering getting a job when I move back to Florida. I've been like saying I'm moving back to Florida, you guys. I'm gonna make like a dedicated video, so you're gonna have to all pretend that you don't know. But for now, I'm just telling you because it just makes it a lot easier to explain what's kind of going through my head financially. That's basically where we're at with our budget for the month. The last thing I wanted to tell you guys about regarding finances in the month of November is amazing news regarding our hospital bills. So if you're new here and you haven't heard before, basically I don't have health insurance since I left my 9-to-5 job. I've not signed up for new health insurance because I'm generally a pretty healthy person and I just didn't feel like I needed it. Then of course, as all things go, I had a health scare while I was in Florida that ended up being what I'm at this point assuming to be a panic attack, and I decided to go to the ER because I was genuinely terrified for my health, and I normally do not freak out about my health. So it was a really hard decision because I knew I didn't have insurance, but we went. I got a ton of blood work done and we ended up having hospital bills that totaled almost $1,600, and that was a huge stressor. I do have a health savings account that has about like $700 in it, so I was like, okay, I can use the health savings account, then we only owe like $1,000 and we can just make a payment plan and pay a little bit each month. I have 2 separate hospital bills, and I talked to the hospital, which was for like the ER stay bill and all of that, which that bill was $1,000, and I discussed with them, like, I'm working very low part-time right now, like I left my job recently. Do you guys have any programs for like financial hardship or anything I can apply for to like get a reduction on my bill? And this was really hard for me to do because I was very imposter syndrome, being like, well, I could be doing more, like I chose to leave my job. I just felt like it was really unfair, but I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna be honest and explain exactly the position I'm in, and if they're willing to help, then they're willing to help, and like I shouldn't say no to someone who's willing to help, right? I told them everything. We had like a little phone interview and they said they'd get back to me, and I found out a few days ago that they fully covered my $1,000 hospital bill, and I literally was like crying on the phone. I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is the most amazing thing ever. Like, this is amazing. Like, I could not believe it. So I'm really happy about that. That is like such a huge weight lifted off of my shoulders and Oliver's shoulders as well. Now we just have this $600 bill, which this one does like a financial hardship form and application versus like a phone interview. So I have filled out the form and gotten all the proper like documentation that they requested, like pay stubs and my like business balance sheet, which is like not a business balance sheet at all because I'm literally doing like Rover and Instacart, but I put it all on there. I put how much I've made, I put all of the mileage and expenses and everything so that they have like the total net profit. So I just need to send it in and we'll see what happens. So yeah, that is my great news. This has just been a great month overall. I've been just really feeling super calm lately about finances and like everything's gonna be okay. We made ends meet. We're gonna make it to the end of our lease. We're not gonna default on our lease. We're not going into credit card debt. Like, we still have money in savings. At the end of November, we still had $6,454 left, which is a good chunk of savings to have. And that's like not including our investment account. We still have about $5,500 in investing that could be actually pulled out with no penalty. And then we also have the last buffer of $13,000 in my 401k. So we're in a really good place. There's definitely still days where I get really stressed out, but I'm not as worried as I was like a month or two ago when we were like going in the hole $1,000. Even just having 1 month where we break even is a relief. So the last thing we're going to look at before I end out this video is this Notion budget spreadsheet that I always show you guys, which basically just shows an estimate of Oliver's income and how much I need to make, my Rover estimates for the month. I talked about this already in my reset video, so feel free to leave if you already watched that. But long story short is that I am only now projected to make $190 for Rover. I did have one of my jobs cancel that was supposed to be like the beginning of this month and they canceled last minute. YouTube income, I did hit $100 in the month of November, plus I had made $86 in the month of October, but it didn't get paid out to me because you have to hit a $100 threshold to get a payout from YouTube. So this month I'm gonna get a payout for October and November, which will total $190, which is awesome. And then I already did 1 day of Instacart and I made $110 on that day. That all together plus Oliver's income means that I still have to do 11 Instacart sessions, which the Instacart sessions are assumed that I'm gonna make $100 per session. If I do like 3 sessions sessions a week, then I should be able to hit that 11 sessions. That's more than I'm definitely used to doing, but I feel like this last month of like breaking even has me very motivated to continue to break even. I really appreciate you all who have been super motivating about me doing these Instacart sessions to break even. It honestly really helps a lot to just know that you guys are like waiting to see if I hit the number of sessions and I break even for the month. Anyways, that is all my financial updates for the month of November. It was a great month with all positive things. Everything was just like a nice, like, good job page, pat on the back, everything's gonna be okay type of vibe, and I'm really grateful that I had such a great month. I want to know in the comments down below what your goals are for the month of December. My goals are to stay in our Christmas gift budget of $100 for everyone, and honestly I should like cut that down even more, but that's how much I have like saved in the bucket for like Christmas gifts. But I'm gonna try to do sentimental gifts, DIY craft gifts, and thrifted gifts to keep our Christmas gifts very low on the budget category, as well as Christmas travel, which will honestly just be gas driving to and from Florida because we are driving. So what that really means is that I should honestly be working even more and saving up even more, because this will probably be a higher spend month. What are your budget goals for the month of December? Leave them down in the comments down below, as well as if you had any budget wins for November. I want to hear all your wins in the comments below. That is all I have for you guys today. Thank you for tuning in to another budget recap video. I am so grateful for you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.